Well, it's Sunday and I thought the least we can do is have a check-in to tell you what on earth's been going on. I'm literally tipping buckets of water out, dirty water, that's not why it's not getting reused, because we've got quite a lot going on at the moment. And the reason that we didn't have a video last week is because unfortunately this little chap here hasn't been very well. This water's not even any good for the plants, that's why it's just going straight out, otherwise I'd be reusing it for those. So on Wednesday night I came out to do a plot tour, a small holding tour rather, not a plot tour, to follow on from January's video. And I came out with the camera just about to get going, and I went in and just as I do, just checked on the pony and the horse that's in there and all the livestock, and I thought, oh, something doesn't look right. He had started colicking, which is essentially a bad stomach, which doesn't sound too bad given that us humans get bad stomachs all the time and we recover from them just absolutely fine. But from a horse's perspective, it's a lot more complicated. Without going into detail and boring everybody that's not interested in that, it was quite a serious situation. Sunday afternoon, and we're still in the process of it, although I think that we're coming out the other side. Thankfully, he hasn't had surgery. Thankfully he's survived, because unfortunately a lot of horses don't survive, but he is not drinking. So we've been trying all sorts to try and get him to drink, adding apple juice to his water, adding mint to his literally mint to his water, all sorts of different things. But we've got to the point now where we're giving him a sloppy mash food basically, so that that's got water in it to eat, and we are introducing small amounts of feed back into his diet now that he's started going to the toilet, because effectively he was impacted. Sorry if that's too much information for people. Anyway, that's where we've been. That's taken over the majority of my life for the last few days, and that's why we haven't got a video out, in combination with a few other things as well. It's Mother's Day today, so I thought let's just have a really quick check-in as to what's happening, what's going on. I do plan on doing a small holding tour and just doing a kind of capturing everything that's changed since January, before we have the next big changes that are coming, which will be the next lot of introduction of animals to the small holding, things that are growing, etc. So I do hope to get that filmed this week. It depends on the weather, because it's finally stopped raining. It's been raining all morning here, so that's why I thought I'd come out and get a few of the jobs done. Even though I'm working in the barn, I didn't fancy coming out and hanging about in the rain. So I've just taken the pony out for some grass, because that's what, as I say, starting to introduce some of that into his diet. But that means that we've had to go at the front of the house where the grass verges are, because there is no grass at the moment where the sheep are. And that leads me on to another thing. We will be losing 2 of our sheep next weekend. They'll be going to the freezer, which is always the plan, and we'll be keeping the 2 that are the pets. We think that we'll probably put those into the barn for the remainder of March, because we need to give that field some time to grow back essentially. So that means I've got quite a bit of preparing to do, both for the freezers in terms of from a practical perspective, and also getting the barn ready to receive the sheep next week. Because what we've done this morning, Stephen and I, putting the hose pipe on. What we've done this morning, sorry I needed 2 hands for that hose pipe, it didn't want to go on. So this morning we have moved the ducklings from the little greenhouse, mesh greenhouse that you guys have seen them in. I think you've seen them in anywhere that's in the barn. That's getting too small for them now, and we've moved them on into a stable, which is the next stable next to the pony that's not very well. They'll be in there for a short period, because ideally we want them outside, and at the moment that's just not doable. So that means that the mesh greenhouse there that was theirs needs cleaning out as well. And I've also got the ducks to do. Stephen has done some of the other jobs for me today that normally I would do, because he does other stuff, and maybe because it's Mother's Day, or maybe just because he felt extra generous, I don't know. But let's get this pony's water filled up. Sorry for half concentrating, that's what it's going to be like for this video, I'm afraid. So while that's filling up, the ducklings are there literally in the stable next door, and they're really happy to be in a bigger space. They can hear me and see me, which is why they've started chirping away. So this little guy here has got no bedding in at the moment, because he is nil by mouth, or has been, in terms of from a food perspective, and he's been eating his bedding, which really wasn't a good thing, so we've had to take it all out. But it was clean enough for the ducklings, so that's what's gone down in there for these guys. And I've got a grazing muzzle for him, which is supposed to help prevent eating too much, but being a Welsh pony, you know, he finds ways around these things. So we're going to give it a go, and I'm just going to put up a tiny bit of bedding, because when they don't have a bedding, it's well, certainly for him, it discourages him from going to the toilet, and given the problem that he's got, that's what we're really looking to see. And because he's not drinking, naturally he's not going for a toilet for a week either. So I'm hoping that fresh water, even though what he had in was fresh, He's had other buckets in here with apple juice, with mints and all sorts of different things in, but I'm hoping that another bucket of fresh water might encourage him to drink again. So that's what I'm doing right now. And then I'm going to put a tiny bit of bed in, and to stop him from eating it, I'm going to put straw in. He doesn't normally have straw, so he will definitely want to eat that. But it's a little bit of a bigger piece, so it might not be able to get into the muzzle as easily as the shavings that he's had, which is really chopped up really small, and he can easily get it into the muzzle. So it's a bit of one of those days of not doing too much. I'm just doing the essentials, but I just thought we'd have a bit of a catch up because it's been a short while and things are a bit crazy here. So this one here can smell. On my hands I've got mint, I've got apple, I've got everything that you can think of that horses might like. Not cockerels though, to encourage this one to drink. She is, I'll have it, why haven't I got any? Right, the next plan, chopped up apple, and I'm going to pour some water in here as well, and then hopefully he will drink while trying to get the apples. Bit of apple bobbing. Right, see if I can do this with one hand. Oh, I missed to get back. Look. It really is apple. Problem is, he's so untrusting at the moment because he's had that much done to him. Clever boy. What a noise. Is that nice? Oh, it's so good to see you doing that. Gonna have to excuse the noise. Normally I'd say it's rude to play with your food, but not in this instance. So I did check with the vet and said, obviously we've been trying with apple puree, literally pureed apples, which he hasn't been interested in. He's been off his food for quite a while, but now he's showing an interest, and the vet said you're going to have to start feeding him because he'd been starved at that point for 48 hours or longer actually. I said, am I okay with solid apples, because obviously they know what that is. Hopefully he'll trust that, and he said yes. So this is the first apple I grated up, essentially just so that it wasn't too much for his stomach to process in case he didn't chew it enough. And this is the first apple that I've cut up like this, which is how they would normally get it. They don't often get treats, especially for a pony. Sugar, really, we try and keep his sugar levels down. But that's the least of the problems at the moment. So it's really good to see him doing this. And again, on vet advice. The vet's been out more times than I care to think, so we're not looking forward to that bill. But this is a good sign at least. As I say, we're not out of the woods yet because he did have a rather large impaction. And it all hasn't passed by any means yet. I'm going to get soaked because he's finished it. So now what I'm going to do is just watch him for a little bit, see if he's interested in the water that it came in, or that I put it in. Then I'm going to put his muzzle on, which doesn't look very nice, but it doesn't hurt them at all. And then just put a little bit of bedding in, see if we can encourage him to go to the toilet. He's been to the toilet once today. And then we'll go from there. Right, I'm going to leave him because whilst I'm there, he's more interested in what things I've got in my pockets than going to the toilet and doing anything else. I haven't put any straw or any bedding in just yet. I'm going to see if he finishes that water. We shall see. In the meantime, I want to get these ducks done. Even though it's Mother's Day, and I know people say, oh, you shouldn't be doing anything on Mother's Day, I'm quite happy pottering around doing these kind of jobs, collecting the eggs, checking on the animals. Hopefully won't find any more that are needing veterinary assistance, and also collecting the duck eggs, which Stephen has done already today because we've been keeping some aside every day this week because a lovely couple have been and purchased some. They got in touch with us through the Facebook page and they live relatively local. I didn't realise that they watch this channel, so hi if you're watching. And got in touch with us on the Facebook page and just said, can we pick some eggs up? And I was like, obviously didn't know that they watched this. I didn't know if that's where they'd seen them. But in the end, we said, we'll keep you some but it takes us a little while to keep the best ones. So fingers crossed that that's a good hatch rate for those guys. And I need to get these cleaned out because Sunday is my cleaning out the animals day, as I said, and there's only the ducks that are left to do. This is the little hatch that Stephen created for the ducks to get outside. That's one of our old kitchen cabinets on there. Anyway, so that goes outside to where you see me tipping the muck sometimes. There's a little ramp that goes down to the ducks area. And in here, all I do is put them a nice bed of straw down. I only use a little bit because these guys are filthy creatures. And the more you put in, the more you have to clean out. Let's go and see how the goats are doing. I don't think they're inside actually, or they must both be outside today. So that's their little hatch there as well. I shouted them to come in. I spared your ears because nobody needs to hear me bellowing on a Sunday. Nobody needs to hear that cockerel either, but we don't have a choice on that one. So a quick update on the goats. I will do this on the small holding tour, as I say. Hazel, who's stood up on the bench there, she's the latest addition for when we lost our companion, who was companion to Apple. So Apple's the lady there on the floor. And when she lost her companion, we went and got Hazel to keep her company, and that thankfully is working out really well now. It was a little bit questionable at the first time, are they going to get on or not, but these things, as with all creatures, generally takes a little while to settle in. Both very happy and doing really well. Right, now those ducks are done. They'll be nice and dry tonight, and we'll get some nice clean eggs off them as well, because honestly, ducks are filthy creatures. Right, what I've done here, I've filled a bucket full of water and I've just put a handful of hay in it. It's not a lot of hay, although I'm questioning myself because it looks a lot, but obviously it's floating in the water. So I've decided to leave him just to eat this for now. I'm not going to put any bedding down because obviously with the muzzle on he can't eat the bed, he can't eat his hay, and he can't eat the bedding, so that's counterproductive. So I'm just going to leave him quiet for a little while now, and then I'll catch up with you a little bit later and we'll see what else I've got done today. One of the other things that's on my mind, which is a good thing to have on my mind, is the amount of eggs that we're going to be getting very soon. Our pullets have been laying for, well, a good few weeks now, and their eggs are getting gradually larger and larger. We will be separating off our breeding hens from our laying hens, and we're going to be selling the laying eggs very soon again, which I'm really pleased about because I love selling them at the honesty box at the front of the house. And then the idea is for the breeding hens, obviously that'll be our continuous supply of replenishing our chickens that we've got here, and the same will be for the ducks as we move into the year as well. So the incubator will be going back on very soon. Again, the next ducks that we hatch will be for ourselves. We're going to keep in those eggs, and hopefully we'll be getting some ducklings from those because obviously these guys are up and pretty much adult size now. Like I mentioned earlier, ideally we want to get these ducklings outside. They've been inside in different locations for their entire life. I think they're about 6 weeks old now. I'm not too sure, I'll need to check with Stephen, but ideally we want them to get them outside with some water that they can enjoy rather than just the drinkers that they have. But they haven't been tough enough or big enough to stick up for themselves either from any predators or from the extreme temperatures that we'll still continue to get those temperatures, but hopefully they've feathered up enough now that they'll be able to tolerate that outside. So we do have a plan to get these guys out next weekend, but we'll show you that on next weekend's vlog, of course. But as I say, in the meantime, we've got loads of eggs from the other poultry that we've got here, and it's about high time that I start thinking of some more egg recipes, I think. So maybe we'll be doing a future video on that, who knows. So with it being Mother's Day today, I need to go and pick some daffodils from those that we've got just in front of the polytunnel here. Some homegrown ones rather than go and picking them from the verges, the grass verges and things like that. And then we'll go and check on the pony, and that'll be me done for today. Like I said, just wanted a really quick check-in, see how things are. So let's grab some of these dafts. I'll show you what I'm going to put them in just a moment, but I want a mixture, some that have already come out and some that haven't yet, so that she can enjoy them in what I've got her for a few days to come, all being well. These are for my mum, not for me, I should have said. 8 little daffodils, homegrown in our garden, the perfect homemade gift. Right, let's go and see how this pony's getting on before we sign off for the day. How are you doing, mister? You're very vocal, that's good. Oh, look what I spy. Oh, sorry, son. Well done. I won't give you an extreme close-up because nobody needs to see that, but that is really good news. Daffodils and horse poo, what more could a girl want? Right, I've cleaned that up, but look, Apple's having a little sleep, and there's Hazel as well, who will eat these given half a chance, cheeky little monster. So that's really good news, that hopefully the pony is on the mend now. Fingers crossed. I don't want to say anything too definite and risk jinxing myself. He just needs to start drinking, so we'll get there. I'll keep you posted in next week's vlog. I'm going to go and put these in the little gift that I've got, and then we're going to head over and wish my mum a happy Mother's Day and do it all again next week. Hopefully not, actually, because this week's not one that I want to repeat. Anyway, thank you for watching. It's been lovely having you along. We should be back next week with a normal routine of videos, whatever that is these days. Talk to you soon.